Assalamu alaikum. Hey, and welcome to the Muslim Life Coach Institute podcast. This is Abdul Shahid, master coach, trainer, and therapist. And this is where I help you to coach yourself and your clients on how to overcome anxiety, fear, and all of the emotional baggage that keeps so many of us stuck in our minds, our lives, and our relationships. Hey, and welcome back to this week's episode where we're going to be talking about when things get hot with your emotions. And I don't mean hot in the sense of you're physically hot, but emotionally hot. When this happens, what tends to happen for most of us is that we get into what I would call a place of self-sabotage, right? Now, you hear me talking about self-sabotage a lot because, look, as you know, I train coaches and therapists and I take people through a life transformation. A lot of the times, one of the biggest obstacles that most of my clients have to face, whether they are coaches, therapists, or just professionals going through a personal transformation in their lives, or like people going through a transformation, trying to actualize the knowledge that they have of the deen in their life so that it actually transforms it. Now, when that happens, one of the biggest obstacles that most people find, and this is without any exception, right? Not most people, let me just say all people, without any exception, one of the things that they find is that they have internal triggers or switches that just switches them onto it's the opposite of self-reflection. It's the self-destruction button. The self-destruction button goes on, and then we behave in ways that actually emotionally, psychologically, and physically even affect us. And when that happens, the science of the Nafs is three things. I don't know if you've ever watched any of my classes on it, but if you haven't, you want to go to the website and sign up for the free program where you actually get access to that. But anyway, what I teach is that there are three things. When we in this science, what we focus on is your spiritual, your psychological, and your physiological, right? Physical. So basically, the three of those are intertwined. They're connected. They all impact each other. And so when you are affected emotionally, psychologically, then what that does is that it impacts you spiritually. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Because, when you're on an emotional high, or an emotional low rather, when emotions are running high, then what tends to happen is that we actually turn on ourselves without even realizing that we're doing it. And I see this happen again and again and again with all of my students, clients, coaches, therapists, human beings. Of course, they're all humans, but it happens to everyone, right? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to speak to you about this today because it's such an important thing. I was actually in a coaching call with one of my amazing coaches, and we're having a session, and I said something, and she said, "Oh, so I can see a video coming out on this," and I thought about it, and I thought, no, this subject is too deep. It can't be a short snippet of a video. Then I thought, you know what? I came away and I thought, no, actually, I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to talk to you about it and actually talk you through it, because my guess is you probably struggle with this one, like most people. And I'm going to talk you through it so that you can actually understand how to deal with it. So here's the thing. Is this happening to you? Do you get emotional because of something going on in your life, some circumstances you find yourself in, relationship challenges, work challenges, any challenge, like psychological, physical, spiritual, whatever? Do you find yourself in some sort of challenge where you are emotionally in a negative spiral. Call it fear, anxiety, sadness, whatever you want to call it, overwhelm. Like, and when you get into that state, do you find that it actually impacts your spiritual connection? It impacts the way you connect with Allah. Does that happen to you? Because let me tell you, even the most quote unquote pious people, when they get into this state of emotional low, then it impacts their iman. It impacts the way that they are connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is actually normal. Like when you study the deen, like one of the things you hear a lot is iman yazidu wa yanqus. Like iman, belief, it increases and decreases, right? So that's not. It's only natural then that your feelings will increase and decrease, will intensify, and they will be at times. You'll feel like you can't be bothered, right? You'll feel like you can't be bothered, and that is the case for many people. Like they feel as though spiritually they're affected. So some of the things that people say is like, and this is how you know that you experience this. Why am I feeling like this? You wake up one morning or one afternoon, you're busy in doing something, and then all of a sudden this feeling comes over you, and you're thinking, why am I feeling like this? You go into a room full of people that you know very well, and all of a sudden this feeling comes over you. Why am I feeling like this? Some people say, they don't even ask that question. Instead, what they say stuff like, why is life so hard? Or why can't things be okay once in a while for me? Or another statement that's very, very common is, I don't understand why this keeps happening to me. Or I wish it could be different just for one day. If it could just be okay just for one day. And these are the kinds of thoughts, and you probably got your own thoughts, right? But if you've got similar thoughts to this, like if you feel like this, you probably feel a little bit dismayed, a little bit disconnected, a little bit resentful at times, and maybe even a little bit rebellious, right? A lot of people actually feel rebellious, and but they don't want to feel that way. But here we go. So they feel a little bit rebellious. They don't want to feel that way, but it doesn't seem like life is fair at times for them, and so they can't help it, is what they think. Now, I want you to just stay with that train of thought. You feel like you can't help it, right? Now, it seems that bad things just keep happening to me. Everyone else is smiling. Go on social media. They're all doing they're doing these cute little pictures with their favorite filters on, making life look so amazing. And me, I feel like just miserable. And I'm sat here just like, that looking at everyone's profiles and all of their pictures, and it makes me feel like, wow, you just really messed up hard. Like you can't seem to get anything right. And then you go into what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Then you go down that slippery slope of what's wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with the world. And look, the truth is that there is something wrong. The thing that is actually wrong is the train of thought that you've got. And for most people, what is wrong is the train of thought that they've got. And when they and I call it a slippery slope, because the minute you start questioning yourself with what's wrong with me, what's wrong with you, what's wrong with everyone, what's wrong with life, then you're going to get an answer. Your mind is going to give you an answer, and the answer is going to be lots of things that you're not going to like. It would just come back with, this is wrong, that's wrong, everything's wrong. You look wrong. And before you know it, you feel terrible. And look, where did it start? It all started there with your train of thought. But in that state, what tends to happen for most people is that when you have that spiral down, you start to feel really difficult about your life. You start to feel that your life is difficult. And in that moment, what happens for a lot of people is that they actually feel disconnected. Because why? Because they actually become disconnected. They withdraw. They withdraw from people. They withdraw from their friends and family. And the worst of all is that they withdraw from Allah. And in withdrawing from Allah, what that means is that, you start having all these, you start to have all these thoughts that are starved of affection or compassion or patience or even tolerance. And it's mostly towards yourself or towards those around you. And when that happens, we have this behavioral response, right? We have this behavioral response, and we start to run away. And here's the thing: look, there is a solution to all of this. Like, I know I'm talking you through this so that we're on the right page. But in all of this happening, like, you're thinking, little old me, everyone else is all right, and when you start thinking that way, when anyone does, and look, I know I speak from experience, right? An experience, personal experience, and experience with my clients, right? It's a human issue. This is not something specific to you, and there's something wrong with you. But actually, many of us go through this. So I want you to understand, first of all, that you're not alone in that. This isn't a problem that you alone face. This is a problem that so many, like millions of people face. They just don't know it's happening. Right? And that's the reason I'm talking you through this, so that you can relate to this and you can understand, is this something that you've experienced? And if it is, then understand that, like, we all have this experience at some point. And what tends to happen is that when we get this emotional low, we start running away, but we run away from Allah. And that's the actual problem itself. So instead of helping ourselves with some relief and turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that tama'nina, for that serenity and that contentment and that peace, for that ease and peace of mind, what we do is that we start to disconnect, we start to turn away. And in doing that, we start coming up with things like, we come up with these thoughts that run through. These are the sorts of things that happen, right? Like, we have all these negative thoughts, and then you start to feel lazy. You have these thoughts all of a sudden that, I can't be bothered to make wudu. And, okay, so now that I haven't got wudu, I'll have to wait until I've got wudu to pray. So then all of a sudden your salah becomes late. You start to focus less on the salah because obviously you haven't got wudu. And then you're thinking, okay, I can't be bothered to make wudu. And then all of a sudden, wudu is a thing. Like, when on a normal day, everything's fine. Wudu isn't a thing. It's just like a normal thing. It's like ablution. You're making wudu, you're praying, and everything's normal. But all of a sudden now, because you don't feel too good, like, salah becomes a thing. Wudu becomes a thing. And if that happens, then before you know it, like, asking Allah, dua becomes a thing. Connecting to Allah becomes a thing. Your mind is dominated with, sad thoughts or unhappy thoughts or angry thoughts. And all of these thoughts that are dominating your mind, they're squeezing out any space for you to actually focus on thinking about something, or connecting, in other words, to Allah through your dhikr, through your remembrance, like, so that you can feel better. But that relief, it comes from your connection to Allah, but you're not even getting any space for that because you're dominating your mind with all of the stuff that you don't actually like. And then you start saying to yourself, I don't feel connected. I feel spiritually low. I feel disconnected. I don't feel like, my salah is right. Well, of course it's not. If you don't feel connected because you're not giving yourself space in your mind to even think and expect good from Allah, then all of a sudden you're going to feel disconnected because you are not actually connecting. And I want you to ask yourself this question: are you doing more Are you doing more things to connect? Are you doing more things to rejuvenate your iman, to make yourself feel, better by connecting to the source of better? Like, are you doing that? Are you doing more salah? Are you praying more? Are you asking more? Are you thinking about Allah and His mercy more? Or are you thinking about it less? Are you waiting for the answer from Allah and expecting it? Or are you expecting less? Or not even thinking about it? You see, intensification of your expectations is what brings about what you get. And if you're expecting all the bad stuff because that's all you focus on, then you're not going to get that peace of mind. You're not going to get that ease and tranquility, because your focus is on everything but where your ultimate true inner peace will come from. So listen to this. Let me just simplify this for you. What I see happening with so many people is that when they are in an emotional low, when they're feeling like life is not, so good for them, like they have challenges and they're struggling with those challenges, instead of intensifying and running to Allah, what they do is that they without thinking, inadvertently run away by disconnecting, by not thinking, by not doing the things that intensifies that inner peace and tranquility. They turn away, and sometimes people actually get angry and they think, well, why should I pray? I don't even get an answer anyway. And then what they do is that disconnects them, and they don't realize it, but they're actually purposely disconnecting. And you won't find that peace, that sakina, anywhere except with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if your problems were resolved, sakina doesn't come from your problems. Like, it comes from the source of all goodness. So you want to be turning to the Quran. You want to be turning to salah in hope and expectation, and not hoping that it's going to help you to, distract yourself from your thoughts. You don't want to do that. You want to actually become super intentional about your thoughts and your feelings and create ones of hope and expectation. It's a choice. Listen, you're thinking, it's all your choice. Like, you can choose to do this if you really want to. Just like you can choose to go to the store, to go shopping. Just like you can choose to sit and talk to people. You can choose what you think about and what you expect. It's within your power. It's the most beautiful thing. Like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you what you need if you will expect it. If you will turn back and expect it. It is very powerful. So what I'm trying to say in this very short message to you, okay, maybe not so short, but what I'm trying to say to you is that, instead of running away when you don't feel good, run to, because that's where you're going to find all of your answers. What so many of us tend to do is that we run away from Allah, and then we run to people looking for help. And the source of peace, the source of tranquility, the source of all solutions is with Al-Mannan, the one who gives you over and over again, is with the one who is providing you with everything, Ar-Razzaq, is with Ar-Rahman, the one who covers you in his mercy, even when you don't see it. So when we have this psychological state, or a psychological, physical, emotional challenge, what happens is that we struggle spiritually. It impacts your spiritual connection, but it's from that you get most of your well-being. So you really need to stay connected instead of disconnecting. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there because I think that's enough information. I think what you need is that you need to actually reflect on this. You need to go back and listen to this and actually reflect on what it is that I'm saying, the actual message. I've repeated it multiple times so that you actually get the core message without loads of fluff. I do have a lot of fluff often. It's like filler. But anyway, I repeated it lots of times within that. So look out for that. Listen to it again. And I'm hoping this makes sense to you. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. Jazakumullah khair. Hey, if you're ready to actually take the steps to transform your life, I want to invite you to join me on the Nafs Life Transformation Coaching Program, where I help you to take the steps to making the transformation of your mind, your relationships, and your life. Just go over to themuslimlifecoach.org/live. That's muslimlifecoach.org/live.